Have you ever had that feeling, deep inside, that something is holding you back? Maybe it's the nagging thought that despite your best efforts, your blessings just aren't coming through. You cry out to God, you pray earnestly, but the breakthrough never seems to come. What if I told you that the thing blocking your blessings isn't your lack of faith, your situation, or even your circumstances? It's a childhood habit you've been carrying with you for years. You see, growing up, many of us develop certain habits, behaviors, and mindsets that seem harmless at the time. They could be simple things, like the way we used to seek validation, the fear of failure, or even an unhealthy attachment to what others think of us. These habits, developed in childhood, are more than just part of our personality. They can be deeply ingrained spiritual blockages that prevent us from receiving the fullness of God's blessings. And here's the thing. We don't always realize that these habits, small as they seem, are actually preventing us from stepping into the promises God has for us. We go through life thinking we're fine, but deep down, there's this unexplainable frustration. Why is it so hard to move forward? Why does it seem like the same problems keep repeating themselves, and we just can't break free? Let me take you back to a moment in your childhood. Perhaps you were the type of kid who constantly sought approval from others. Maybe you were the one who worked extra hard to make sure everyone around you was happy, even if it meant ignoring your own needs. This might have been something you learned growing up, thinking that if you could just please others, you'd be accepted, loved, or valued. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? And it feels innocent at the time. But what happens when we carry that habit into adulthood? This is where it gets tricky. That habit of seeking validation, trying to please others, becomes an invisible chain that limits your potential. It keeps you from fully trusting in God's approval of you. You're so focused on the opinions of people that you forget God's opinion of you is the only one that matters. Here's where the breakthrough begins. God wants to break that chain today. He wants to show you that His love, His blessings, are not conditional on the approval of others. Your value is not tied to what people think about you. It's tied to the truth that you are His child, beloved, and chosen. But first, we need to face this truth head on. Those childhood habits are blocking your blessings. And the best part? You have the power to break free from them. But it starts with recognizing that these habits are holding you back from embracing God's plan for your life. If you've ever struggled with seeking validation or trying to please others at the expense of your own peace, comment, "I'm ready for change," below. Let's break those chains together. Also, if this message resonated with you, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and tap the bell icon so you never miss out on life-changing insights like this one. Remember, God's blessings are waiting for you, and it's time to step into the life He's destined for you. Now, let's take a deeper look at the root of this childhood habit. It's not just about trying to please others or seeking validation from the outside world. It's about something much deeper. These habits often stem from a place of fear. Fear of rejection, fear of not being enough, or fear of failing. And this fear, though it may have been learned in childhood, follows us into adulthood and can severely limit how we experience God's blessings. We may not realize it, but every time we let fear dictate our actions or our worth, we're allowing that childhood habit to control us. We end up constantly striving, constantly seeking approval, and constantly doubting our own abilities. We try to be perfect in the eyes of others, thinking that this will bring us fulfillment and God's favor. But in truth, this cycle only blocks the flow of God's blessings in our lives. Let's take a moment to reflect. How many times have you missed out on an opportunity or held yourself back because you were afraid of failing? Or maybe you've stayed in situations that weren't right for you, simply because you were afraid of disappointing others. This kind of fear-based living is exhausting, and it keeps us from walking in the freedom and blessings God has for us. Think about the Israelites. When God was leading them to the promised land, they were afraid. Despite seeing miraculous signs and wonders, they still let fear of the unknown and fear of failure stop them from stepping into what was promised to them. They were literally standing at the edge of their blessings, but couldn't walk in it because they were still chained by fear. This is exactly what happens to us when we hold on to these childhood habits. God has a plan to prosper us, but we can't walk in it if we're too afraid to move. We have to let go of fear and step into faith. Faith in the truth that God's love and favor are not dependent on our ability to perform or meet the expectations of others. Now I want you to remember this. God is not asking you to be perfect. He's asking you to be faithful. He's asking you to trust that you are enough in His eyes right now, just as you are. And when you break free from that childhood habit of seeking validation and fearing failure, you'll start to walk in the blessings that were always meant for you. Let me ask you, what's the first step you can take today to let go of fear and step into God's calling for your life? Think about it and share your thoughts with us below in the comments. And if you're ready to break free from fear and live boldly in the blessings God has for you, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and tap the bell icon to get notified whenever we share powerful messages like this one. God is waiting for you to take the first step toward your breakthrough. Now that we've uncovered how these childhood habits are blocking our blessings, let's talk about breaking free. It's time to shift from being bound by these old patterns to living in the freedom God has already prepared for us. The first step: recognize that your worth is not tied to others' approval or your past failures. It's anchored in God's love for you, love that is unconditional and unwavering. Imagine for a moment the weight you've been carrying, the weight of constantly striving, performing, and seeking approval. What if you could lay that down? What if you could stop trying to earn your worth and simply rest in the truth that you are loved, accepted, and enough, just as you are? God is calling you to that freedom today. He's calling you to trust Him more than the expectations of others, more than your fears, and more than your own doubts. When you let go of the need to seek validation from outside sources, you'll find that God begins to unlock the blessings that have been waiting for you. Let me give you an example from the Bible. Remember the story of David? As a young boy, David was overlooked by his own father. His brothers were the ones who seemed to have it all: strength, looks, and stature. But David, though a shepherd, was chosen by God to be king. He wasn't seeking approval from his family or even from anyone else. He was simply walking in the path God had set for him, and God's blessing was upon him in ways that no one else could have imagined. Just like David, you may have felt overlooked or like your efforts were never good enough. Maybe you've spent so much of your life living for the approval of others. But God has a different plan for you. He sees you, He knows you, and He has blessings that are uniquely meant for you. If only you'll trust Him and break free from the chains of fear and approval seeking. Here's what you need to do today. Make the decision to stop living for others' approval and start living for God's approval. Embrace the truth that God has already equipped you for the purpose He's called you to. You don't need to prove yourself anymore. Just be who God has created you to be, and watch how He starts to pour out blessings in your life in ways you've never imagined. Are you ready to step into that freedom? Are you ready to live without fear of failure, without seeking approval, and trusting that God's plan for you is better than anything you could have planned yourself? If so, comment, "I'm ready for freedom" below, and let's stand in faith together for the breakthrough that is coming your way. Before we close, don't forget to like this video if it's resonating with you, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell icon so you don't miss out on more powerful messages that will help you live in the fullness of God's blessings. Remember, breaking free from childhood habits takes time, but the first step starts today. God is ready to unlock those blessings in your life. All you have to do is step forward in faith. This next video is handpicked just for you. YouTube knows you'll love it. Or dive into this C.S. Lewis playlist for even deeper wisdom. And hey, don't leave without subscribing. Your journey has just begun.